Living my bucolic life, free healthy city strife. Horses, chicks, and dogs, they are my neighbors. I cook and some spin, and move the horses into the barn. Then time to move them out again. Red barns, green pastures, beautiful white houses. The view I see each day when I arise. This life pleases me, as it is plain to see. I'm living my bucolic life.
Hello. All right, so welcome to my 100th video. Isn't that exciting? I had no idea I had that many videos, but I do apparently. So last night I was looking and I had 99, so here it is. And you see behind me the blue coat. That was last week's video or last time. And some of you noticed there are no pockets because there was so much else going on. I just did not want to add pockets to the mix. But today is an accessory video. So what this coat really needs before I can put all of my fabrics and furs away is a muff. It needs a big old fuzzy hand warming muff for in the front. So that's what I'm going to make today with my leftovers. So hope you like it. Let me turn the camera down and get started. Okay, so this is my plan. I have this one big square of fur left here. And I want a big muff, not a tiny little dinky one, but a nice sizable muff. And so I'm going to use this full piece. But the strategy I'm going to have is that here is, say, my fur. And I want my fur to be on the outside, and I'm going to use the blue for the inside. And so if these are my sides, and it's going to be made into like a cylinder like that, so these two edges will be sewed together, okay? I'm going to want my blue to be slightly narrower so that when I sew my fur to my blue, my fur is going to wrap in a little bit. So you won't actually see the blue from the outside, it'll just look like fur wrapping in, and then blue in where my hands are, okay? And I saw that some people use batting in here. I might do that. I also have a whole bunch of stuffing. So I might put some stuffing in and kind of tuft it in or something. But anyway, here is my fur. And you can see it has like ridges that go this way. So that's how I want the up and down to go. And if I'm going to be using this, and I will, and I want my hands, let's see if I can move this over here. Okay, and I want my hands to be able to, where I can put my hands together, but it's going to come basically up to where those sleeves end, which is right about here. I need it to be able to reach from here to, say, where my thumb starts, which is 9 inches twice, so I can get both arms in. So that's an 18-inch wide muff, which is good because this piece, say, is 24 inches wide. And if I need 18, then that can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 inches, so I can have 3 inches turned in on either side or thereabouts, not an exact thing, and then cut a blue piece for this extra. There you go. So if I turn it this way, I think you can see. So then I'm going to need to cut a blue piece that will fit right in here. So let me go ahead and measure that. That would make a blue piece that is basically 24 inches tall. And if I put it over 1.25 inches, that gives me my seam allowances here. And just over 12 inches wide. So 24 by 12 is the blue piece I need. I'm going to go ahead and cut that right now. Okay, so just measuring my little blue scrap here. And I think this will work. So let me put that away. safety first. Okay, so let me just lay this on here and see how it looks here. Will this fit over that space? Yes, it will. Excellent. Okay, so with my right sides together, this fur is shedding everywhere because I did not vacuum it very well, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and pin it up and down each side here. And I'm going to sew it just with my standard 5/8 seam allowance because that is what I'm used to. And I'm also going to do this side. So it's going to kind of, you know, be way longer here than over here. But I'm going to also pin it on this side and do the same thing. Pin it and sew it at 5/8 here and here. Okay, so with those two seams done, I'm going to turning it right side out. Looking good. And this is my stuffing, which is actually from a pillow that I was using for something else, and I have half of it left as stuffing, which looks like a good size. So what I need to do is actually baste closed one of these ends, so what I put in on one side is not going to fall straight out on the other side while I'm getting everything situated. So I'm just arbitrarily going to choose this end in about 1/4 inch or as close to the edge while still keeping it all closed that I can. I'm just going to sew a stitch straight across there. Okay, so now what I'm thinking is that I'm going to just loosely stuff this, just so it has body, because I want it nice and thick. But I'm going to actually try to make it so I don't have to tuft it, because that would be a little bit difficult going through all of this. Not impossible, but a little difficult. So let me just loosely stuff it in here first. I'm just going to pull off pieces and put them in there. I'm not going to pack it, you know, I just want it nice and lofty. So give me a minute and let me stuff this. Okay, so now that I have it pretty stuffed, it's not really hard because I want to be able to fold it in half and get a nice look. So that's about the thickness I have. I think that'll be good. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and sew this end closed too. Just across here, just the same, as close to the edge as I can to hold it together, just so all this won't come out, and I'll be right back. All right, so now before I close up my ends, I need to decide what kind of strap I'm going to do. And so you can go all the way around your neck and have it on both ends, or you can have like a little loop, like a wristlet kind of loop, so you can hang it on your arm while you're not using it. And I think that's what I'm going to do, just because that collar on the coat is so fabulous. I really don't want anything tugging around that collar. So I have this stuff. It's actually made for upholstery. What's it? I don't even know what it's officially called. It's like a really thick upholstery piping, okay? But this little part here is just stitched on with a zigzag, so I can pull that off and have a nice sturdy corded loop. So what I need to do is figure out how long I want it to be, and I'm thinking something like that, so that I can put my arm through and it's going to hold it, because this is going to be stitched midway in here. So just to be on the safe side, I'm going to give myself a lot extra and probably cut that much so I can stitch it in the center if I need to, so it won't end up pulling off to the side. So I need to put some tape around here and cut it. I need to go, here's some masking tape. Hang on a sec. Usually I'd use Scotch tape, but this is handy, so that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to put a little piece of masking tape here just to keep anything from unfraying, and lop that off. So in this side, you can probably see this side, but there's just little zigzag stitches holding this on. So just give me a few minutes. I am going to pick those off so that all I have is my little cording here. All right, so I've got that little band taken off of here, and I had an idea of what I'm going to do. which is wrap my whole band around, and you can see it goes all the way around, but not a whole lot of extra. And I'm going to stitch these two ends together, overlapping it about 1 inch, and then tack it at 2 places, like right about here. Actually, I'll probably put it more like this, because I want my finished seam to be in the back so that no one sees that. So this part up against my body, okay? So this part is in the front, what everyone sees. But if I do it like this, then this will be more like a little short handle that when I'm not using it, I can just put my hand through and hold it that way while I'm doing other things. But then when I am using my muff, it can just fall behind and, you know, it'll be out of the way and everything. I like that idea. So what I need to do, first of all, is stitch these two ends together. I'm just going to do that with a needle and thread just to hold it so that they won't come apart. So I'm just going to use some very old but strong quilting thread and stitch those together. All right, so I stitched it together, and then after that I put another piece of tape around it just to hold it. And if this right here is about halfway, okay, I'm going to want my braid to be about 1/4 of the way down. So once again, getting my little needle and thread, and I'm just going to stitch through the cord here and into this little blue fabric around where this seam is on both of the sides there, and that's just going to keep it from wanting to move all over the place. So, and now I need to go ahead and fold this right sides together this way, and very carefully, I'm going to use clips, I think, to clip these together. I'm going to start with my corners and then kind of work my way across just to make sure I get everything. And I just need to sew this across here. I'm probably going to reinforce the corners just because that's where any stress might be, because I don't want this to come open. Gotta tuck all of my stuffing in there as I do. Anyway, once I get this over to my sewing machine, I'm going to be able to get it flat enough I can like push that stuffing down here and sew straight across here at 5/8, but being sure to reinforce my edges over here. Okay, so now the only thing left to do is try to see if I can turn this whole thing right side out without dislodging everything. There she goes. Okay. All right, so here is my seam. So if that is my seam and my little band is right here, there she is. Okay, so it's terribly windy outside, so I'm not going to go out there because, you know, too much chaos. But here she is, my cute little muff. So when I need to just hang on to her, I guess I'll just go like that or something, you know. I haven't quite figured that out, but, you know, so she's holdable while I'm doing things. And I can just put my little hands back in there, and I think that that is just so much fun. It's very cozy, you know. It looks as extravagant as I need it to be. So anyway, hope you liked it. Short little video, but sometimes you need that, especially after that 4-hour extravaganza of the coat, you know. That's always fun. So anyhow, I hope you liked it. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Living my bucolic life, free healthy city strife. Horses, chicks, and dogs, they are my neighbors. I cook and sew and spin, and move the horses into the barn. Then time to move them out again. Red barns, green pastures, beautiful white houses. The view I see each day when I arise. This life pleases me, as it is plain to see. I'm living my bucolic life.